would suggest that you just kind of sit and look at this. I think you've heard all this stuff before. Most of these things are going to be that I've written under here. I've just written brief comments. Usually each lecture is covered with 1 or 2 slides, and just try to absorb that and get a picture of the scope we've covered. We started in this class with Carolingian and early Romanesque architecture, and the first key work we looked at was the Palatine Chapel of Charlemagne at Aachen. And Charlemagne really represents a kind of renewal and revival of classical values. And the architecture really shows that. And its influences are the most recent rich architectural traditions, which are Byzantine and classical Roman. So we know that that kind of comparison is useful. Comparison of this building, for instance, with San Vitale at Ravenna, which you had last quarter. The Carolingian and early Romanesque architecture also talked about the growth of the monastery. And we talked about a building that it was never built, called the Ideal Monastery of St. Gall. And that monastery is really a kind of self-sufficient community in itself. Everything is there. There's a church, obviously, a basilica plan church that we see, and we look with some detail at that. You can see the interior here on the right. But you can also see, and I see that I put it in backwards, you can also see that the community had a lot of other parts. It had a cloister, it had a refectory where monks ate, a dormitory where they slept, and then it had really a kind of farm and social system. It had a hospital, it had a school, it had a place to make beer, it had an orchard, it had a place to grow vegetables, a place to make pottery. Really, it was a kind of self-sufficient community, because the Middle Ages was a time of shaky political unrest with the fall of an empire that had been going on so long and various waves of takeover. And so the monastery established a kind of solidity in the community. And of course, also because because clerics are literate, they could read, they also, in some interesting kind of ironic way, really saved classical literature, because they transcribed it and wrote it and preserved it in libraries, in spite of its being what we would call maybe pagan, because it's not Christian. We looked second at early Islamic architecture. We looked at the Dome of the Rock, which was a very early monument, really intended to set up for Islam a kind of marker that it too was an important monotheistic religion in Jerusalem alongside Judaism and Christianity. Islam was definitely to be reckoned with. It's a specific kind of monument, a central plan monument that looks a lot like other buildings that preceded it, Byzantine ones and Christian ones. But its purpose, of course, is strictly memorial. That is, it doesn't have any kind of congregational use. Whereas the early mosque in Damascus, built on top of a Roman temple, which then was occupied by a church to St. John the Baptist, was really built for community worship. And it has all of the elements that then become important in a mosque, in a place of Muslim prayer. It has a courtyard, a minaret, it has a hypo-style hall, a many-column hall, with a mihrab, and usually that mihrab or niche facing Mecca and the Qibla wall is reinforced architecturally. In this case, you can see it's kind of reinforced by a kind of nave-like space with a dome. its need for Christian liturgy. But some very clear common denominators that we see in the mosque all the way up through what we've looked at.